He sat across from people, debated them, argued, and opened conversation. And for that, somebody put a bullet in his neck. Tell me how we got here.
We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration.
What an absolute dumbass response. I had no other word to use, but he actually makes it worse. He calls Charlie one of the most divisive figures, especially young people, and says hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. Hey guys, I have to talk about Charlie. Talk about Charlie Kirk. I needed to weigh in on this. I'm pissed. I'm gutted. Charlie Kirk is dead. A husband stolen from his wife. 2 kids robbed of their father. Why? Because people were terrified of his truth. That's it. He didn't call for war. He didn't march an army. He sat across from people, debated them, argued, and opened conversation. And for that, somebody put a bullet in his neck. Tell me how we got here, especially in this country. Tell me how people that scream about hate on loop, hate, and point fingers, can't see that they're the ones drowning in it. The ones who are pointing fingers at everybody else while their mobs keep spilling blood in the streets. And now Charlie's gone. And we're just supposed to pretend it's another news cycle. Well, it's not. Not for his family, not for his kids, not for any of us who still believe that words shouldn't cost you your life. Let's talk about Matthew Dowd of MSNBC, formerly of MSNBC. He's the face of everything rotten in corporate America, corporate media, I should say. He actually said this.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea.
That maybe it was Charlie's own supporter firing a gun in celebration. Are you fucking kidding me, Dowd? A supporter that just happened to hit him from over 200 yards away in the neck with a rifle. This wasn't fireworks. It wasn't a misfire. This was an assassination, period. You could have just said something like, we need to make sure we wait and see until we know everything. What an absolute dumbass response. I had no other word to use but dumbass. And then he actually makes it worse. Watch this.
But following up what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
Soak that in. He calls Charlie one of the most divisive figures, especially young people, and says hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. Translation, he blamed the man who was shot. He basically said Charlie's own words put the bullet in his neck. And here's where I absolutely lose it. What hate speech are you referring to, Dowd? That he believed in, Charlie believed in family? That he believed in secure borders? That he believed that men are men and women are women? That he was a man of faith? That's hate? No, it's called a disagreement. It's debate. It's different values. People like you have twisted it into some sort of death sentence. This is the exact rhetoric that gives lunatics out there permission to pull the trigger. And finally, MSNBC woke up long enough to can this clown. Even they couldn't spin it. That says everything. If MSNBC won't defend you, you've gone so far off the rails that you're not even on the same fucking train anymore. And that's the playbook. Dowd spits poison on TV, paints Charlie as the villain, and the mob eats it up. And then you look at Congress, the very people running the country, and you see the exact same rot from the Democrats. Different stage, same sickness. Democrats couldn't even hold their breath for 10 fucking seconds to honor Charlie, a fallen father, a fallen husband, a man who was literally assassinated for wanting conversation. Instead, they yelled no and jeered. They pushed back like middle school bullies who finally got one over on the quiet kid. If you don't believe me, take a look.
let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order.
Well, you get it. I mean, you couldn't really hear it very well, but basically they had a moment of silence, which irked them enough already. And then someone suggested that they say a prayer out loud for Charlie. And immediately that's how it was greeted, with a bunch of bad language and in the Congress floor. Mike Johnson, Speaker, had to calm everybody down, because heaven forbid we give a moment to a man who was completely taken away from his family and his life for having ideas. That's not just simple disrespect. It's evil. Those are elected officials signaling to the country that if you don't kneel to their ideology, your death means nothing. And let me just say this. These are the same people who cry Nazi to conservatives every 5 fucking minutes. Here they are, applauding they're applauding political violence. It's sport. That defines the highest kind of projection. And now I want to move this over to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where a woman who calls herself an emotional support teacher decided to log into Facebook and vomit out her soul for the world to see. Amanda Dodson. Remember that name. She took the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a man shot in cold blood, and used it as her audition tape for MSNBC. She threw in the entire leftist word salad of false labels, probably straight from a woman's study syllabus, and said Charlie stood for nothing but hate. Allow me to read this trash to you. Charlie Kirk was a racist, xenophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic, sexist, white nationalist mouthpiece who made millions of dollars inciting hatred in this country. Whether it was his genocide denial, his transphobic tirades, his pushing for mass deportations, or his normalizing Trumpism for years, the man stood for nothing but hate. I extend absolutely no empathy for people like that. In this situation, my empathy is reserved for his children. May they grow up to live in a country that is the total opposite of everything their father envisioned. May all of our children grow up to live in a country that values their lives enough to take gun violence seriously and reject any person who would try to justify senseless gun-related deaths, especially the deaths of children. I mean, this person is absolute scum of the earth. But my question, again, is where is the hate coming from Charlie? From the guy who built a career starting conversations? Or is the hate coming from the teacher who's publicly cheering a bullet through his neck? She says she has no empathy for him. And then with a smugness only a childless cat lady or an overworked beta male fucker could muster, she claims her empathy is for his kids, but only if they grow up rejecting everything their father believed in. That's not empathy. That's spitting on a grave while pretending it's a hug. And for someone trusted to guide children, it's vile, twisted. It's exactly the rot that's crept into American classrooms at all levels. Now, I'm not her or these people. I don't wish her harm. I don't need her dead. But actions have consequences. And trust me, she will face them. She'll lose her job. She'll be shunned outside of the echo chamber of Karens who not belong to this garbage. Because unlike her, we don't cheer death. We don't celebrate violence. We still believe family matters. Charlie loved his kids. He preached for stronger families, stronger family units. And yet this woman shaping the next generation in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, believes otherwise. Let that sink in. I'm sorry if there's a little bit of stumbling on my words. This is a hard day. And this is a hard show to do. So in the words of Officer Tatum, another fantastic man who's now mourning his beloved friend, they've brought it here, to this point. They've poked the bear one too many times. They've mocked, censored, smeared, and now assassinated. And for what? Because Charlie Kirk spoke words that they couldn't counter. He told the truth. And when you can't debate the truth, all you've got left is violence. And that's why I repeat this. They've brought it here. They've dragged this fight into our homes, into our streets, and now taking someone that we truly admired. And here's the part they don't realize. When you keep cornering the vast majority of this country, don't be shocked when that majority finally pushes back. Even Elon Musk spelled it out perfectly. He said in a post, if they won't leave us in peace, then our only choice is to fight or die. That's not bluster. That's the gut check of millions of Americans right now. People who are tired of being told they're the villains, tired of watching their country slip into chaos while the same side that lectures us on tolerance keeps lighting the match. Think about it. Who's rioting? Who's been doing the looting? Who's cheering on criminals while demonizing the people trying to keep law and order? Who is celebrating the death of a father and husband because they didn't like his politics? It's not us. It's not this side. I made the mistake of scrolling through social media after this. I was looking for wonderful tributes. And of course, you get the smut. And I've seen people laughing, cheering, high-fiving each other over Charlie's death. What does that say about them? They think it's cool, or they're looking for clicks? It's this ideology. It's not about justice. It's not about progress. It's just raw, bitter hate wrapped in hashtags for their social media. And I'll say it one more time for the people in the back. We don't hate you. We don't need to. You'll get yours. Maybe not today, maybe not the way you expect, but I do. I believe in karma. Consequences have a way of finding people who cheer bullets into necks. And when they do, don't cry fascism. Just look in the mirror for that. So let me set afloat as I end this. I have a hypothetical for you. It's completely unrealistic, totally unworkable in the real world. But if stay with me, if the logistics aligned, what if we split everyone up? Not by geography and not by walls, but by beliefs, by the very identities that they scream about every day. Conservatives over here, liberals over there. Everyone gets their own little ideological Disney world. If you think white people are the devil, fine. Go live without them. If you think the definition of men and women doesn't exist, perfect. Go over there. You can have a society with 73 restrooms that anybody can use and endless pronoun committees. How about socialism and open borders? Congratulations. You get your dreamland over there, where food is rationed by the state and criminals stroll across the border like it's a Walmart greeter line. Religious extremists. Off you go. Swing the sword in the name of peace until you run out of people to swing it at. Here's the question. Which of these places thrives? The extremists? They're gone. Wiped out by their own contradictions. The race baiters who thrive on victimhood? Well, they'll quickly run out of fingers to point without the white oppressors to blame. Maybe then, finally, accountability and a real solution for the youth can creep in. What about the socialist utopia? Well, it collapses the second the shelves go empty and the police that you defunded aren't there to stop the mobs. Meanwhile, what's left? How about the side that still believes in family, in building, in innovating, in raising kids, chasing dreams, creating wealth, and enjoying the simple act of just living free? That's where peace and prosperity actually live. That's where love, real, and that's the point. The people who scream hate the loudest are the ones living on it. They need it to survive. But if you stripped it all away, isolated the chaos, and let them eat each other alive, what's left standing is the dream that they've been trying to burn down. Maybe that's the real utopia. Not us leaving them, but them finally showing the world who they really are. So when you hear the jeering in Congress, the sick posts from the teachers, the tweets cheering bullets, remember this. They've brought the fight here, but they've also exposed themselves. And when the dust settles, it won't be their hate that defines America. It'll be our love of family, freedom, and truth. I love you all.